Hey folks, Professor K here. So I promised that I would show you an alternate way of handling the positioning of these circles, and I thought I'd just run through that real quick. So instead of using a div to create an overlap and kind of creating the relationship that way, so here you can see there's a div class of circle inside of H2. Another way that you could approach this is using pseudo elements, before and after. This keeps your HTML kind of nice and neat and clean, and it keeps all the presentation inside the CSS. You can do this with up to 2 elements, one before and one after. And what you can see here is that I still have the position relative on the parent element, that's H2, but what I've done here is I've added, you always have to have the content property on pseudo elements, so I've set this to just blank because we don't need any content, and the display to block. Without this piece, these will no longer show. Actually, they will. Wow. Huh, look at that. Well, I know for sure without the content they won't show anymore, and that's because that's required for that. I thought that with the display block it would need that to set the width and the height, but there you go. All right, so let's just get this to kind of show up again. Display block. I just need this to refresh real quick. There we go. So how is this working? It's actually the same positioning trick. Here's the position absolute. Remember, if you had relative, it would create too much space. It would take up the same amount of space as this circle is doing. So again, we're going to use absolute so that the space isn't being taken up. And then you simply move up 20 pixels, negative 20 pixels from the top of the item. Over here in the after, here's a couple of different things that I'm using. You don't have to use just top and left for positioning. You can also use bottom and right. So how does this work? Let's take a look. Let's pop this open and let's just draw over our rectangle right here. So remember, this is for the H2. This is where we're positioning to. And now I want you to notice how these bottom and right items work. So the bottom is saying that we are going to go down, move down 20 pixels. And then the right is saying from the right, we want to be 30 pixels from the right. So you can position things that way too. Think of it like XY coordinates relative to each corner of a box. So here's the bottom right, here's the bottom left, here's the bottom top, and then bottom top, excuse me, top left and top right. So you can do positioning that way too. It doesn't just have to be, you know, from the top, negative 20 pixels. From the left, 20 pixels. You can position in other ways too. So that's a quick tutorial of positioning using pseudo elements. I hope this helps you out. I'll see you later.